This week on The Hangar, the Battle of the Box, James Hird head-to-head with Kevin Sheedy.
James Hird, the coach, I wasn't sure whether that would happen.
Heath Hocking in the studio, and an Aussie golden girl behind the lines of her beloved Bombers.
Looking pretty good, smashing it, giving these young kids a bloody run for their money.
Siren sounds, Bombers have come up trumps here by 19 points. A huge win for the Bombers.
It's certainly a lot better than a 1-7 scoreline, but a 7 wins and 1 loss start to the season comes with its own set of challenges, managing external platitudes and preventing internal complacency among them.
Yeah, I suppose we're just sort of focusing on what we need to do. There's always going to be talk in the media. I think there's that many journalists these days, paper, news, radio, things like that. But yeah, we're just focused on what we need to do, and for the week ahead, there's been a lot of pressure on at the moment for players getting spots in the senior side, which is always good, so that that competition sort of keeps them level-headed and down to earth, and just focus on trying to get a senior game.
You see this kick come unstuck. This is what they do. Davey immediately tidies things up in favour of the Bombers with a great goal. Forward pressure at its best. And that will do his confidence wonders, Elwyn Davey.
The Indigenous boys did lift to the occasion. Sort of players like Paddy Ryder, Elwyn Davey really have a big impact on the game, and it was really exciting to see. And even Leroy Jetta was to spark down forward. So I think overall the boys were really good, and it was yeah, I suppose we were lucky to get such a good win.
Cotton comes in. That's mighty tight. I think it's there. The Tigers are in front. Look at the fans and players enjoy the moment.
42 points up. I think it was halfway through the third or the start of the third, and the Tigers did really lift. When they did hit the lead, I heard he came down to the bench, which I noticed, and he was sort of just trying to tell us to keep taking the game on and really attack it. I suppose when you go down with only sort of 10 minutes to go, you can sort of go into your shell a bit. So yeah, his points were just to keep attacking the game and play the way we want to play, and yeah, it sort of looked after itself.
Working hard. How about that for a play from Jetta? Now drives it long as well. Mark taken. Hurley plays on centering ball as easy as you like to Big Tom Bell Chambers.
You know, I find it really difficult to watch, and just to be back out there and in such a big game was really exciting for me, and I was just couldn't be happy to be back out there playing. Growing up, I liked to wear a long sleeve, and I sort of hadn't really had the opportunity with yeah, I suppose jumpers being made, so I was lucky enough to wear the long sleeve on Saturday night, and I felt comfortable in it, so I think I might be wearing that one again.
Just like James Hird, Kevin Sheedy lifted Essendon into the finals in his first year as coach and had his team near the top of the table early in Year 2. The pair set to cross swords for the first time on Saturday night.
When I saw James Hird, really early days, he played in the under-19s. He's a raw-boned kid, pale as a chalk on a blackboard in my old school days. A very talented player. Really got to know where the ball was going. Very good reader of the play in his early days. Didn't accumulate a lot of possessions, but had the look of his eye that he wanted to make AFL and make it big.
Oh, having watched him as obviously as a kid, you know, when he was coaching Essendon, it was in awe of Kevin Sheedy. Really, the first time I spoke to him as a player coming here, was just in awe. Just couldn't really listen that well because of, you know, I was quite nervous. But you know, obviously his coaching career went well before him, and an amazing person, amazing coach.
He lives in Toorak now, so it's a distant relationship. But I would say, look, I never really got into telling James any more than he had to know. His instincts as a player was quite brilliant.
You know, a lot of mutual respect, and obviously, you know, he's taught me almost everything I know about footy and a lot about life. So, terrific relationship and a person I admire greatly. Look, there's a lot of things. Obviously, his football knowledge and ability to talk and ability to communicate. But I thought his best attribute was his positive nature. That whether you lost badly, whether you played badly, you always knew you were going to turn up and Sheed was going to have a solution for you and find a way to succeed. And you know, that's how you last in coaching for 27 years or however long he's been in the job. Because you know, a lot of downtimes, but his positive instincts and the ability to get people up when they're at the lowest was fantastic.
You can put him on the forward line, he can play a leading target. You put him in the goal square, he'll get you goals. You put him on the ball, he can control the game. Put him in the back line, and you only leave him there for 5 minutes because you'd, more than anything, you'd be saying, get me back on the ball, coach. This is not my ballpark. Getting Essendon out of the bottom 8 and getting Essendon into the top 8 and getting him a chance to a premiership, I think that probably is what brought James Hird to the coaching arena. And I think probably, I don't know whether he'll stay there a long time, but he will get it right because he's a winner, and most of the things he takes up is successful. And that's what winners do. They get it right.
There was something in him, I think, that he wanted to coach, yeah, and I think that he didn't think it was the right time to leave when he left Essendon, and that he wanted another job, so there was always an inkling that he'd go again.
Just following, you know, basically James's year and a half so now and Mark Thompson's previous years and the advice that I would be thinking that he would be given James, that I don't think there'll be too many surprises.
There's no doubt there'll be something. The box, we won't be able to communicate downstairs, or the door will be locked, or you'll have 16 players on the ground, or there'll be something. There'll be something different, but we just need to concentrate on what we're good at. But yeah, there's always something up Sheezer's sleeves, but that's what makes him the great coach.
G'day, Skip Thompson here from Kia, taking Jobe Watson on a trip down Rookie Lane.
G'day, Jobe. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, mate, I'm very happy to be sitting here with the captain of the Essendon Football Club.
Yep.
Do you remember your first game?
Yeah, I remember my first game. We played Geelong on a Friday night. Obviously nervous, like any first-year player, and I was just couldn't believe where I was, and you know, I was just grateful for the opportunity and pretty daunting. You know,
overwhelmed.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you remember your first kick or your first touch? You know,
well, I did.
Did you do something useful, Joe?
I didn't actually have a kick in my first game, so I had to wait another 6 months because I didn't play again. So it took a long time before I got my first kick, but I think I tackled someone, so that was my highlight of the game.
You're a good tackler.
Yeah.
Your first year, it wasn't the best for you. It wasn't a good start. Was it?
No.
Was it a good start?
No, not really. I mean, injuries. You know, any young player, I think the adjustment into their life, and as a rookie, there's a lot of injuries, and you know, you spend a lot of time in the rehab, and I suppose that's like a low light for you and a low point. But I think it builds a bit of character, and you sort of appreciate, you know, when you're fit and healthy. And I think sometimes it's a good challenge to face as a young player.
You're a champion, mate. Very exciting to watch, and all the best this year.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
No problem.
Who mows the lawns?
The groundskeeper does it most of the time.
Yeah?
Yep.
I've got one of those Victors at home. I could give it a go.
Yeah? You're more than welcome to...
Not a ride on, you push it.
Yeah. It might take you a while then.
I'm keen.
So how often are you icing, Stu?
After an injury, you probably ice 15 to 20 minutes every couple of hours.
So they've charged him with intentional, that it's a strike that's intentional to the body and low impact. So they're the conditions. Yeah, you can just see there, he's got his, there he just makes a little bit of contact here.
Yeah.
Look, at most it's a 30 centimetre little jab.
Yeah, well that'll be the one that the AFL advocate will focus on. Yeah. He'll put to Leroy that Grimes is just essentially coming into the area.
Yeah.
Looks like there might be a slight short little jab there. There is some contact.
Yes.
I think the biggest issue for us in terms of whether we can say it was just negligible contact as opposed to it being a strike is the fact that Grimes sort of crouched down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's 50-50 case of best for us.
Look, I think it's worth giving Leroy a call and just find out what he's thinking. Yeah, okay. So really from what your point of view is that it was just a minor tap. Yeah, and you're really surprised at Dylan's reaction. Mm. Okay. Look, I'm comfortable with that, and I think we're comfortable with taking it to the tribunal.
Heath Hocking is this week's studio guest. Heath, unfortunately for the Bombers and for Leroy, it wasn't a successful trip to the tribunal.
Yeah, it's disappointing for Leroy. He's been in great form for us and really given us a lot down forward. Yeah, I guess we like to play physical and aggressive, but you just, I guess, got to be a bit smarter. And yeah, he'll learn from it and get a nice rest.
Now, a little birdie tells me that Dylan Grimes' sister, Hayley, actually works at Essendon as the HR manager. Perhaps she should have tried to get Leroy off?
Yeah, it would have been nice because it's always good to have Leroy down in the forward line, but yeah, we couldn't quite get him over the line.
You've experienced the process of going to the tribunal. What's it like when you have to feel the nerves and the anxiousness, I suppose, going in?
Yeah, it's I guess it's a little daunting because you're up there and there's three like jury members in a way, and it's sort of, yeah, I guess everyone's looking at you and you've got to try to tell them that, you know, what you did was, you know, I guess an accident or just not as bad as it looks. So yeah, it's a tough time.
The team is flying at the moment. Are you feeling settled after a bit of a false start to the season? You were knocked out in the first 20 seconds of that opening game and then missed the next one.
Yeah, I guess sort of just trying to come into some consistent form. I know I've got a lot to work on, and I've been given some tough roles during the first eight games. So I'm just trying to play some consistent football and sort of negate their better players.
How challenging is that mentally? Because one week you can play on Gary Ablett, the next week it's Scott Pendlebury. There's really no rest. It's unrelenting when you are a tagger. Yeah,
I guess you just sort of get used to it in a way. Like it's been, I guess, 6 straight rounds now where play on their best players. So I just mentally just got to, you know, they're good players and you've got to play well and try and negate them where you can and play them in different ways, because obviously Gary Ablett's a quick and really good player to get in the ball, and then you've got others who are in close and contested football sort of players. So yeah, it's just learning how to play different players. So
at 24 and nearing 70 games, do you feel as if you're at the peak of your powers at the moment, that this is a real high point?
Yeah, I think I've stepped up into the leadership group, and that's been a real confidence booster for me, and I feel now really part of the team and ready to help hopefully bring Essendon into some success.
Well, the whole midfield is firing at the moment, but Brent Stanton in particular is having a superb year.
Yeah, he's a sensational player for us. He works hard. Pre-season he was the fittest bloke running around the track, and he's really putting that into some good form. Players find it hard to play on him because he just runs so hard.
You mentioned the leadership group before. Is it an easy role when the club is doing so well? What are you doing at the moment?
I guess at the moment it's our role to sort of keep a lid on things. Players get ahead of themselves and stuff like that, and we're working really hard to just make sure training standards are still high, and we play consistent football week in, week out, no matter who the opposition. So that's sort of the challenge for us at the moment.
Hi, I'm Lydia Lassler. I'm 2010 Winter Olympic gold medalist, and today I'm going down to my favourite club, the Essendon Bombers, and I'm very excited because I'm going to be catching up with Stuart Cramery. So how often are you icing, Stu?
After an injury, you probably ice 15 to 20 minutes every couple of hours, just to keep that swelling down and make sure you don't have any inflammation in that joint that can hold you back any further than playing games.
Well, Body Ice was born about 6 years ago when I suffered a pretty bad knee injury at the Tribunal Olympics in 2006. Being an aerial skier, you're jumping all day and you do get swollen, you do get new bumps and bruises. As soon as I knew what I wanted as an athlete to recover from injury, I just started doing some sketches and got some prototypes made and just got it done and manufactured it within 6 months. The company was up and running, and well, I'm a Bombers fan, I have been all my life, so I wanted to introduce Body Ice to the club and to see if the boys liked using it and if they found it effective, and so far so good. Yeah, Stuart did have a bit of a scare the other week, and he put Body Ice and used it throughout his recovery and was able to play last weekend. When I used it in the game, I put it straight on and I was able to walk off and sing the song with the guys and able to do everything normal recovery. So it held on and it was really good. think I look very different out of my helmet and ski suit, so I can fly under the radar a lot better than our beloved Essendon boys who are in the spotlight, you know, and obviously playing in Australia, they get a lot of exposure compared to us winter athletes. My favourite is Fletcher. It has been for a long time.
Well, you're fitting well.
Really good. Yeah. You?
Good. Oh, yeah, fitting
looking
well,
pretty
so.
good.
Yeah, no,
smashing
good,
it.
so,
Giving
yeah.
these young kids a bloody run for their money.
Yeah,
good on you,
well,
buddy.
So.
I just think he's given so much to the club and the sport. 350 games plus. So he's an idol for a lot of people to look up to. When it comes to the footy season, unfortunately I don't get to watch the whole thing. I'll have to head off in a couple of weeks to the States to concentrate on my own training. But geez, with the internet and live streaming these days, I don't think I'll miss a match.
Once again, your votes via the Essendon website decide the true value bomber of the round. The round 8 nominees are Cale Hooker blanketing Richmond's match-winning forward Jack Riewoldt with a brilliant four-quarter display at fullback.
It was Hooker just doing a great job.
Nathan Lovett-Murray getting the ball out of the middle, stopping the Tigers in defence or snapping truly up forward. The Essendon substitute did it all in a crucial 24-minute cameo.
Knocked down here, picked up by Lovett-Murray. Lovett-Murray, magnificent goal from the boundary line. He celebrates.
And Bomber Thompson, what a masterstroke it was to break the tension in the coach's box by spraying the coach with a can of soft drink.
Yeah, just opened a can of Coke and it went everywhere. It exploded. It scared the life out of all of us.
Genius. And well done to Daniel Bishop for correctly voting for Cale Hooker as the TVB of the round. He's now in the season-ending draw for the True Value Solar Energy System valued at $3,000. Visit essendonfc.com.au for full details.
Moments that will live forever. Happening here at the MCG on just a great footballing night. 88,500 turning out. Sunday night football welcoming you with the best seat in the house to the farewell of two of the game's greats, Kevin Sheedy and James Hird. They've done this a few times, haven't they? James coming out for his 252nd and last game in Melbourne.
Look, it was a great celebration of Sheeds' career, and I suppose finishing the same day he finished at Essendon was a privilege to finish with him, and we'd spent a lot of time together and a lot of good times together and some low times, but to finish at the same stage at Kevin Sheedy was great.
Well, the game against Richmond obviously was a disappointing game because being my old club, obviously we got smashed by the Tigers that night, and Richmond have been waiting to win against Essendon, and I think they might have saved it up for that night.
I think doing a lap of honour with Sheeds at the end, and just the crowd and how good they were to both of us, and I think it was a really emotional day for the football club, and I was very content at leaving. I think that those Sheeds probably thought he had a bit to go, so there was sorrow from both of us, but I think from his point of view it was a bit more disappointing because he considered he could get this team back to where it needed to be again.
Moments that will live forever. Happening here at the MCG on just a great footballing night.
Obviously 90,000 being there for my last game at the MCG was, I would dearly love to say thank you to all the Bombers and Tiger fans there, along with James, but I think the Perth game, which is the actual last game that we played, was a pretty significant game. All our families went over there. We had a great time. We got beaten by about, I think it was a kick difference. Maybe they might have got a goal late if I remember rightly. And but the crowd, the West Australian people were fantastic. We've always got on well with West Coast, and even though we've fought tough battles between each other's clubs, I think there's an enormous amount of respect for West Australian fans and the Bomber fans. And of course over in Perth, where jacket waving was just one of those sort of habits of people caught between the mighty Bombers and obviously West Coast.
Well, if there's any one bloke that deserves to be cheered off from a football ground, it's this bloke here.
I played under him for 253 games, and he'd been a massive part of my career, and hopefully I'd helped him be a good coach. So it was a fitting way to go out.
I was very fortunate to coach Essendon for 27 years. I was actually privileged to do that. and always hard to say goodbye to the team you barracked for as a kid.
It was hard to say goodbye to playing football, but you never say goodbye to Sheeds. I mean, running to him all over the place and still see him a fair bit, so it's not goodbye as a person yet, but and obviously on Saturday night we'll be trying to beat the living hell out of each other, which will be good fun.
Yes, you've got to love Sheeds. Did he work quite closely with you, Heath?
Not closely. He is the one who sort of drafted me to Essendon, so I guess I'm very grateful that, he saw something in me and brought me to Essendon, a club that I barracked for. So I didn't sort of get much chance to be close to him because I wasn't playing in the seniors, but I played one game under him, so I was, that's always exciting.
And on getting drafted, because you were overlooked in the national draft and then rookie to the club, you must have felt really grateful at the time for that opportunity. Yeah,
well, definitely. It was sort of a dream of mine sort of growing up that, hopefully play AFL football, and the day I got rookie was, a very, very happy day for me, and just to go to Essendon was even better. And as a Bombers fan, no doubt James Hird was one of your favourite players, but I understand Damien Peveril might have been the other, and you've almost succeeded him in the same role at the club. Yeah, it was sort of Hirdy was sort of my favourite, and then I also liked watching the way Damien Peveril played his footy, and that's sort of how I played my footy in juniors. So I sort of saw something in that, and I got to play with him as well. So that was good as well. Being announced as the runner-up in the Best and Fairest in 2010 must have been a really proud moment for you. Yeah, I was sort of surprised as well. I played every game that year and had a pretty consistent year, but it was definitely surprising to sort of come second to Jobe, and I just excited, for the years to come. Now, Heath, as an actor, you make a very good footballer. Have a look at this.
Just like on the footy field, I love a bit of hard work, and nothing throws its weight around the building site like Johnson workwear.
Well wrapped up by Hocking.
So when you need a tough job done, like building the Bombers' new training base, you can rely on the toughest work gear around, Johnson workwear.
Well, like it or not, that is your image as a bit of a tough nut. Yeah, well, when I got asked to do it, it sort of it was just, I guess, a bit of fun, but also to help the Johnson's workwear out, and it was pretty fun doing the ad. And I understand you're a massive ice hockey fan. That's a pretty tough sport. Yeah, I don't mind watching the ice hockey. It's the playoffs are on at the moment, so it's pretty good games at the moment, and I enjoy watching it. So there's nothing soft about Heath Hocking? No, I don't think so. Well, we've got the home truth question now for this week, and it's from Luke. Of all the champion midfielders that you've played on, who's been your toughest opponent? I'll go with this year. I sort of because I've done the role consecutive weeks. It's sort of been Scott Pendlebury was sort of the hardest I played on. He was pretty physical in the way he ran, and it was a hard day, and we sort of didn't play that well that day, but he definitely showed me a thing or two about football. Well done to Luke. You win the Home Truth Antler luggage prize pack this week. It is valued at $500. Now, a lot of Hangar viewers want to know what happened with Kyle Reamer's dog earlier this season. I went over there for dinner one night, and I'm a bit of I like dogs, and his dog was in its bed, and I went over just to pat it. No, I wasn't egging it on or anything, and it just took a bite, and it got me pretty good. Gave you a bit of a fright? Yeah, I guess that was the one thing that sort of come out. I was a bit shocked, and sort of now look at dogs a little bit differently because of the shock it gave me. OK, we've got to get on to some team selection news. Can you tell us if old man Dustin Fletcher's going to play this week? Yeah, I think they're going to give him a rest. He's he's tirelessly worked over the first 8 weeks, and he's got just a little bit of a niggle, so they'll leave him out of this week, and hopefully he'll get up for next week. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck this week coming up against Kevin Sheedy. Beautiful. Thanks, Sarah. Cheers. Next week on The Hangar. You don't have to do it, no, it's not compulsory, but we do advise that obviously all the younger ones get in and get their hands on the footy, obviously put themselves a step ahead of everyone else.
This has been a Fox Footy production.